Hello guys, welcome to episode 5 of this tutorial. I hope you've already watched the previous episodes. In this episode, I'm going to tell you and I'm going to show you how to show books by authors. So in this episode, what we are going to do is to use the two contexts that we have. So author context and book context. And the objective is to have a component that can show each book with the author of that book. So if you remember from previous episodes, each book is linked to an author based on the author ID. For example, inside of my book, context, using this author ID, I am linking each book to one author context, right? So I've got two authors, I've got two books. Now I want to have another component here which can show the books as well as the authors of each book. So let's talk about this. We are going to talk a little bit about context composition. We're going to use the use authors to get a list of authors as before, use books to get a list of books, and we're going to match each book.author ID to the ID of an author coming from the author object. So first we're going to create this component, books by author. Let's talk about it a little bit. We are importing the two custom hooks from the two contexts. We want to be able to use both contexts from this component. This component, what it needs to do is to render a list of books, and next to each book, it needs to render the author of that book. So we're importing the custom hooks, as you can see here. I am getting access to the two arrays coming from the two contexts. And then here's the interesting part. I am mapping through the authors array coming from the author context. And for each author coming into this code block, this is what I am going to do. So I am going to filter the books array coming from the book context and only get the books that are associated with the current author. So I am filtering the books array, as you can see here, and here I am only getting the books whose author ID equals the ID of the author currently rendered by the map function. So basically this line of code, using all of the books inside of the book context, it is returning the books only associated with the current author. And then now that we've got one author and all the books associated with that author, we can return the markup of this component. We can first, for example, return the name of the author, and inside of the author books array, the filtered array, right? We're going to say if there is one book for this author, create this UL element, map through that author books array, and for each book, render the title of the book. Otherwise, simply print that there are no books for this author. So this is one single component that can render authors, and next to each author can render the books associated with that author. Let's create this component. It's called books by author inside of the components folder. So inside of the components folder, I'm going to create books by author, and I am going to write the code. Let's import the two custom hooks, use author and use books. Let's create the component. Let's get access to the two arrays inside of the two contexts, authors and books. Now let's return the component. First, let's get the books for the current author, and then let's do this. Let's first print the name of the author, and if there are some books for that author, let's map through them, and for each book, write the title of that book. Otherwise, let's print a p tag saying that there are no books associated for this author. And this is it. The component is ready now. The next step is to start using this component. So to use this component, we are going to go to app.jsx component, right? We are going to for example, render an HR tag, and after that, we are going to render the books by author component. So app.jsx, after, for example, this, I'm gonna create an HR tag, and then I am going to say books by author. And if you take a look, for the first author, there is only one book, which is being rendered here. For the second author, there is only one book. And for me, as one of the other authors, there are no books, which is why I am getting this array. I haven't written a book yet. So this is it. I mean, this is the next component. Right now, we have the list of authors. We can add new authors. And by combining these two authors, by combining these two contexts, author context and book context, we are creating a component that has access to both of these contexts and kind of combines them based on the relationship between authors and books to render each author and the books associated with that author next to them. So this is the result that you should see. Of course, I can see my own name as well. Now, if you add a new author, they will appear in the list with no books yet. Why? Because there are no books associated with that author. So if I come here and I add John Smith, as you can see, there are no books associated with this new author. And I'm going to wrap up this video here. If you enjoyed watching it, please give it a thumbs up. And in the next episode, we're going to further develop the application by adding new features as well.